Welcome back to OVN. Today we're going to do a couple lore readings. The first one is a conversation between Ikora and Zavala. The second one is the interrogation of the Psion that tried to assassinate Zavala. If this video is helpful, a like and a sub would be very much appreciated. Let's get into it. The Restless Dead. Ikora approached Zavala at his post in the courtyard. He was looking out at the city the same way he always did, even before he was commander, with a blend of fierce determination, love, and dread. A combination Ikora knew very well herself. She stood next to him, resting her hands on the railing, looking up at the traveler and the stars. They said that before the collapse, cities were so bright they outshine the stars, she said quietly. It was no surprise to her when he said nothing. Living for hundreds of years didn't endow you with deep understanding of another person, it turned out. Close and steady partnership did. She knew him by now. He held his fears close to his chest, protecting people he cared about. But with time, with patience, he would let her see. Sometimes. So she waited. "I keep seeing his face," Zavala murmured after a long silence. Ikora looked at him, her expression falling. When she spoke, her voice was soft with grief. "Cade?" "No," Zavala said. He gripped the railing with both hands, a gesture of frustration and self-doubt. Uldren Sov. Ikora straightened, surprised. That sharp feeling of being caught off guard, of realizing you'd missed something, froze her for a moment. "What do you mean?" she asked cautiously. "In the tower," Zavala said. "In the crowds." He hesitated. "I saw him in the gardens. He called out to me to warn me about the assassin." Silence again. Zavala exhaled slowly. "Do you ever listen to the old Golden Age stories Eva tells during her festival about apparitions of the dead?" "Ghosts," Ikora said quickly. "That's what they called them. But those are fairy tales. Who needed ghost stories when the dead could already get up and walk?" She watched Zavala sidelong, waiting for him to say it, waiting for him to ask. "I don't know why my mind goes to folk stories. I suppose because the alternative is too hard," Ikora interrupted softly. "Too hard to imagine." Zavala closed his eyes and nodded. Neither of them said anything for a few minutes. Eventually, Zavala broke the silence. "But if he were back, we would know," he said. Ikora stared straight ahead. She felt him watching her, checking her. He was so tired, so tired. He would trust whatever she said. She reached to put a hand on his shoulder and said, gently, as her gut twisted with guilt, "We would know." Zavala placed his hand over hers. They stood together, looking out at the last safe city of Earth, with the profound distance between them that Ikora had never felt before. Vertigo. "I never could understand you Psions." Lord Saladin gazed broadly over the precipice of the wall at the rocky wilderness below. Nearby, Osiris watched the Psion prisoner, restrained by a set of centuries-old iron shackles. Saladin continued, "You were conquered by the Cabal, and in the face of a superior military force, you did what you had to do to survive. There's no shame in that." The Psion flared their moist facial flaps and fixed their lone eye on the Iron Lord. Saladin wondered whether they were glaring in defiance or struggling to breathe without their helmet. He marveled at their repulsiveness. "But even after Callus fled and Gaul was defeated, you still grovel before tyrants like Keitel. If you rose up, you could taste true independence instead of the patronizing scraps that she offers." Saladin shook his head in contempt. "Your power is wasted by cowardice." In the silence that followed, the Iron Lord noticed a curious change in the surrounding atmosphere. The air filled with a sharp frequency, not a sound, but a high-intensity vibration that seemed to emanate from inside his own head, like a blossoming migraine. Osiris chuckled. "Our friend disagrees." Saladin snarled and grabbed the Psion by their shackled wrists. He dragged his prisoner to the edge of the wall and held them over the precipice. He was amazed at how light they were without armor, like a scrawny little bird. Osiris sniffed in distaste and looked back toward the last city. He doubted Saladin's ham-fisted style of interrogation would work, but the Psion had resisted his own subtler approach. Where did they get the light dampening tech? How did they modify the prediction engine? Saladin snapped. The Iron Lord held firm as the Psion struggled weakly in his grip. Where are they? Where's the rest of the cell? The Psion's lone eye fluttered wildly, and Saladin felt a sudden rush of vertigo, as if he was the one with the 100-meter drop beneath him. The Titan steeled himself. We will find them eventually. You can't control that. The only thing you can control now is your own survival. Tell us where they are. The Psion began to tremble, like an animal shivering in the cold, but they said nothing. Instead, they assaulted the Iron Lord with another wave of vertigo. The wall felt as if it were flexing and tilting beneath the Titan. He growled through clenched teeth. Last chance. Where are they? Suddenly, Osiris was at Saladin's side. The vertigo broke. Lord Saladin, he urged, this is a waste of time. You of all people should recognize unrelenting stubbornness when you see it. You're right. Saladin regarded the Psion with quiet admiration. If the roles were reversed, I'd rather die than betray my loyalty. The Iron Lord gave the Psion a nod of respect and then effortlessly hefted them over the ledge. In the split second before gravity took hold, Lord Saladin met the Psion's gaze. He suddenly saw himself reflected in the creature's Y-shaped pupil, a ferocious ogre in metal armor filled with violence, a dull primate infused with godlike power, a fragile mind cursed with immortality. Saladin felt the creature's terror, but he also felt the expanse of the Psion's ancestors yawn forth beneath him. He felt their hands reach up to embrace him in a comforting void. He heard the ringing chorus of their timeless harmony call to him. A kaleidoscope array of emotions surged through his heart, such that he had never known as human. For that fleeting moment, he was at peace. Then the Psion was gone, and Saladin was alone with Osiris once more.